This conference will now be recorded.
Hi friends, my name is Shivakumar Reddy. I have total 7 years of experience. My technology is Java, DevOps, and AWS. Have been working as a developer in Java J2W technologies, and I'm working practicing DevOps from last 5.5 years, and I'm working in AWS environment. So I have a mix of almost development plus DevOps and cloud skills, and I'm doing some research in DevOps automation, all those things right now. So I'm moving forward to the blockchain and big data technologies as well. So this is my short introduction. So today I'm here to tell you about what is what DevOps is, and when we use DevOps, how to use DevOps, why to use DevOps. So before understanding, so this is the agenda. What is DevOps? When to use DevOps? Why to use DevOps? And how to use DevOps. So you should know very detailed explanation about all these four questions. Okay, so first we'll start with what is DevOps. So I've been training so many batches from last 2.5 3 years in DevOps, but every time I will ask the very basic question, what is DevOps? So when I'm going to the interviews personally to some product based companies like Airbus, JP Morgan, the first very basic question they will ask is what is DevOps. So in one company, so I attended almost 45 minutes of interview. The last question he asked me about what is DevOps, and he directly said, if you tell something wrong about what is DevOps, then you will be disqualified from the interview. So it is very important to know what is DevOps. Even some when I ask this question to the persons who is working in DevOps in projects in companies, the usual answers they will tell me is DevOps is a set of tools and DevOps is automation. DevOps equal to development plus operations, and it's a bridge between dev and ops, and it is like 10 deployments per day. So this is the usual answers I'll get from the students and some people who are working in DevOps as well. But if you say these questions in interview, this will be 1000% wrong. You will be directly disqualified from the interview. This is 1000% and even infinity% wrong answer. I can see so many institutes they are teaching DevOps, but they don't tell them what is the real DevOps actually. So they will just teach like they will directly say instead of telling what is DevOps, they will say they are going to teach Git, Jenkins, Nexus, Nagios, Maven. So all these things they will tell you. Ansible and Chef and Docker, Nexus, SonarQube, Nagios. So they will tell you they are going to teach all these things. Then it is quite obvious the students will understand like DevOps is a set of tools and DevOps is an automation. But this is, trust me, this is you are going to accept with me in next half an hour or 1 hour. This is completely wrong answer. This is not the DevOps everyone is thinking about. DevOps is something else. So for that, to understand what is real DevOps, we have to start from very basic level. So I want you to be more patient in listening this. I will make it very clear with our daily life situations. Okay. So before understanding what is DevOps, so you should know first how the development is going on in software. In software companies, from ages, means like from last 50, like once the softwares are developed from last 30-40 years, people are developing the softwares. So you should understand how the development is being made. Okay, so that is very important. So very basic things I'll teach from the scratch. Even for the BTech graduates are just now completed BTech graduates, they can understand these things. So we have total three teams in high level: development team, and then testing team, and then build and release team. So these three are the known teams and high level teams. So except development team, we used to call all the other teams as operations team. So in a high level, I can say we have development team and operations team. Even the testing team and build and release team all will come under operations team. Okay. So now you know very well, development team writes the code and testing team tests the code. Before testing team testing the code, so you have to build the code. So now you will get the doubt of what is building the code. Okay, so I'll say one small example. For example, computer manufacturing. We know very well the company about Dell. So Dell is manufacturing the desktops and laptops. So usually any laptop will consist of monitor, keyboard, mouse, motherboard, and some accessories like input output pins like USB drives and HDMI cable outputs, everything. And so these are the some components in a laptop or desktop. So do you think Dell is manufacturing all these things by its own? No. So they will take keyboard from some company and motherboard from Intel, keyboard from some other company, and like eyeball mouse is from some other company, monitor is some other company. So people, they will give the contract to the multiple companies and they will manufacture each component. But when do you call this as a laptop? If you assemble this all components into a single component, then you call it as laptop. Okay, so you have to carefully assemble. There should not be any errors while assembling. You should do very careful. Similarly, developers also, they will write the code individually. For example, if 1,000 developers are there, they will write the code individually, but you have to build the code at last into a single file, like how you are building all these components into a single device called laptop. 1,000 developers writes the code. For example, 1,000 developers may write the code in lakhs of files. So how to make this all the files into a single component, like Windows image. Windows image is developed by Windows software is developed by lakhs of developers, thousands of developers, but ultimately it is a single file. It means you are assembling. So in computer I use the word assembling. Here we call it as building. Building the code carefully without any errors is called build. And what is release? Release means once the build is completed successfully, you will release the software to the end customers. Okay, so this is called build and release. When the developers, they complete the development of the code, you have to carefully build the files developed by the developers into a single file called software artifact, we can call. Okay, So that you have to do very carefully, like how you are doing the Dell laptop assembling or Dell desktop assembling. So once this is done, then so I will tell you one small example. Before Dell is releasing the laptops like new versions, new features into the market, what they will do is they have the internal employees, and they have some agents, and finally they have the customers. So do you think that Dell will directly release the laptops into the market? No. So what they will do initially is first they will give the laptops to the employees. So once they give us the once they gave them the good feedback, then they will give the laptops to the agents or some shop. They have some agents in every city. They will give the laptops to the agents. They will collect feedback at every stage. Here they will collect feedback. Here also they will collect feedback.
This conference will now be recorded.
So they don't want to take the chance of directly releasing the laptops to the customers. First, they will give the laptops to the internal employees. Once they will use this for 1 month or 2 months, they will collect the feedbacks. And if there is any negative feedback, they will correct that. And finally, they will release it to the agents. Then also they will wait for 2-3 months. Once the agents use the laptops, here also they will collect the feedback and they can clear the any errors or any defects. Then finally, they will release the laptops to the customers. Same here in software. While releasing the software like Facebook or Amazon, what they will do is first they will release the software or application, software or application, both are same, to their employees only. So they will ask them, they will request them to use this software very thoroughly and give the feedback. So now they will collect the feedback here. And then they will release to the third party vendors. And they will also do the collecting the feedback. Just like Amazon, they can give the software to the vendors and they will collect the feedback. So once these two stages are passed successfully, and if there is any negative feedback, they will clear that negative feedback and make them into the positive, and finally they will release it to the customers. So this is the stages of releasing the software. So we call this stage generally as development environment and QA, quality analysis or testing environment, and then UAT, user acceptance testing, and then production environment. So we will have all these stages, at least these many stages will be there in the software development. Okay, development environment means persons who develop the code. They will use the software first. And then QA, we can hire some testers. They will test. And UAT, user acceptance testing. It means like our clients will do the testing. So once the code is passed in all these stages, once the software application is passed all these stages, once they are satisfied with the feedback, then they can release the software or application into the production environment, that is called end customers. Okay. So to test the application either by developers or testers or clients, what we have to do is we have to build the code. We have to build the code developed by developers into a single component, that is called build and release. So first you will build the code and release it into the development environment. Next you will build the code and release it into the testing environment. Next you will build the code and release it into the UAT environment. So before these guys do the testing, this build and release team are responsible to assemble or build the code and release the code into that particular environment. Okay, so this is the process generally. So now we discussed about what is development team, what is testing team, what is build and release team, and how the environments will be there in software world. Okay, so don't worry about, I'm not telling you about DevOps now, because at the end you will understand in a single shot what is DevOps. So before that you need to know all these things very clearly. So in our next video I will tell you about more things.